Currently, all conflict resolution of a global scale is attained through one of two poles: a political solution or a military solution. No other alternatives are recognized. There is another solution, the harmonic solution. Without this third solution, no harmonic resolution is ultimately possible for any conflict on a global scale. The third solution defines the first two solutions as a polarity embedded within a timing standard that is hopelessly irregular and which therefore disposes the mind to disharmony. A mind predisposed to irregularity and disharmony is incapable of producing any long-term solution. The basis of the harmonic solution is to change the timing standard from an irregular to a regular one, thereby inducing a timing sensibility which disposes the mind to harmony rather than disharmony. The calendar is a macro-organizing principle which, accepted over time, establishes in the mind individually and collectively a set of perceptions which are automatically taken for granted as being real and indisputable. These sets of perceptions define the paradigm by which a people, culture, or even an entire civilization operates. The Gregorian calendar, the current global civil standard, is the macro-organizing principle in which are embedded all of the laws, customs, institutions, and scientific principles governing the present global civilization. According to the law of time, the current calendar is an irregular standard of measure. Its units of measure do not correspond. This calendar represents, therefore, the institutionalization of disorder and entropy. Because it has existed sufficiently long in the human historical cycle, 2,000 years including its predecessor, the Julian, the perceptions which unconscious acceptance of the Gregorian calendar furthers are taken as the unshakable bedrock of nature and reality. All current beliefs, economic, political, and scientific, from democratic neoliberalism to the special theory of relativity, are actually products of the underlying perceptions promoted by this calendar, and have no reality apart from the beliefs about time which the calendar engenders. Change the macro-organizing principle and you change the paradigm. In the old world view of time and nature, physical reality, the third dimension, is the basis of all natural science, the keystone of which is physics. Nature is defined as being in a progression toward entropy, in which time is conceived of as an arrow which goes from the past to the future, linear time. This underlying belief is translated into the doctrine of inexorability. This is the belief that technological progress and neoliberal monetary politics develop along a line of inevitability, which defines the main trajectory of human social evolution. This is at the expense of the quality of life and the destabilization of the biosphere. This underlying stratum of belief establishes a mental barrier between the third-dimensional physical reality, which is acceptable, and the other side, which is the dubious fourth-dimensional realm of consciousness and the imagination. This entire complex of belief and scientific investigation is held in place by the macro-organizing principle of the Gregorian calendar, which by its irregular measure fosters a mentality of novelty and a world of increasing randomness and chaos, incapable of harmonic resolution. In this worldview, the two viable solutions, the political and the military, are juggled by the underlying control factor of money. But even the monetary factor is a function of the macro-organizing principle of the Gregorian calendar, combined with the micro-organizing principle, the 60-minute clock, whose absolute control over human life is summarized in the dominant social philosophy: time is money. As the global civil standard, the irregularly measured Gregorian calendar is a self-reinforcing feedback loop, furthering and holding in place all linear time concepts, thereby establishing entropic and disordered values such as the violent universe, the degradation of matter, quantum physics, the arrow of linear time, doctrine of techno-economic inexorability, and the attendant host of unsolvable problems: crime, drug abuse, terrorism, environmental deterioration, etc. Why? Because, as an irregular standard of measure, the Gregorian calendar is incapable of producing harmony. Only harmony can unify. The Gregorian calendar is not a unifying harmonic standard. Lack of a unifying global standard exacerbates all current conflicts. Condition the mind to an irregular standard, and the mind will adjust to disorder and chaos as normal conditions of existence. The world's racial, tribal, historical, and religious conflicts are embedded in and a function of different timing systems, calendars, all now coordinated within a master irregular timing standard and macro-organizing principle, the Gregorian calendar. In this calendar's irregularity is embedded the view that the world of the inevitable degradation of matter is the exclusive object of all present-day science, and hence is the entropic basis of global civilization and its deteriorating social processes. The Gregorian calendar conditions the mind to hopelessness of resolution. Without a unifying harmonic standard, humanity is incapable of any long-term resolution of any of its problems. Disharmony can never produce harmony. All conflict can be resolved by application and within the context of a harmonic timing standard. The inability to attain global peace, much less the resolution of many localized conflicts, which have now become endemic, is due to a lack of a globally unifying timing standard, the macro-organizing principle of human sensibility. Present-day conflict resolution is represented by two poles, political and military. The military solution consists of guerrilla warfare, terrorism, and outright military conflict, all engendered by problems of inequality, injustice, rampant nationalism, tribal, racial, or religious antagonism, and greed for control of natural resources. Underlying the military solution is an aggressive armaments industry that seeks to hold its own as a capitalist venture, always seeking new markets. The political solution is always fostered as the only cure for the military solution, and is administered through varying degrees of coercion, compromise, and the inevitable lure of money. The IMF and the World Bank are never far behind any political solution. Neither the military nor the political represent any kind of morally satisfactory or enduring solution, because both are functions of and embedded in a timing standard that has disharmony built into it. Even the local timing systems themselves, feedback loops, holding in place various belief systems, are coordinated by the dominant disharmonic standard. As long as the current global macro-organizing standard is the controlling timing factor, resolution on a global as well as local level is not only impossible, but increasing disharmony is guaranteed. The harmonic solution calls for the immediate establishment of a globally unifying harmonic standard, the 13-moon 28-day count. With its absolute harmony of units of measure, this macro-organizing principle is a paragon of harmony and thereby represents the only positive, creative, and viable first step to global conflict resolution.